These events happened 2 years ago. I can't take it anymore. And thus, I need to tell people about my experience. My name is Jeffrey, and I am a 27-year-old IT specialist who used to work for a multinational company based in Southeast Asia. Our office occupies the 8th floor of a 25-story building in the central business district of the country's capital. The lobby is located on the 1st floor, while the food hall is on the 2nd floor. The parking area is from basements 1 to 9. Our country is predominantly Catholic, and that is why religious holidays usually mean special non-working days for employees. The Holy Week is celebrated yearly by all Catholics. It starts on Palm Sunday all the way to Easter Sunday. The long weekend starts on Monday, Thursday. BPO companies usually keep a skeletal workforce during this long holiday to ensure that international clients will still be served. It was the Thursday before Palm Sunday when all the vacation leaves were filed for the coming holidays. I didn't file mine because I don't really have anywhere to go to. My family lives 450 kilometers away from the city. I hate long travels. Thus, I didn't bother to book a bus ticket to go home. Besides, it was just a few days and almost every person in the business district will either go to their provinces for a vacation or to visit their families. The city will be vacated by millions of people, which is perfect for an introvert like me. My apartment is a 30-minute walk from the office. If you take public transport, it's a 10-minute ride without traffic and an hour ride with traffic. Wednesday night, before Monday, Thursday. 6 people will be left here at the office to work through the holidays. Don't worry, as you're sure to have the Christmas holiday off. The ones who will be staying will be Jeffrey, Mark, Kevin, Anna, Geoff, and me. To the rest of you, have a good holiday, enjoy your time with your family, and stay safe. Ronald, our boss, said to conclude the meeting before everybody leaves. Ronald is about 5'6", a bit chubby and bald. He always wears grey long-sleeve polo shirts with a friendly smile. "Hey buddy, do you want to grab a bottle or two before leaving?" asked my best friend Kevin. He is 25 years old and lives nearby. He is approximately 5'7", with a slim build. "Sure, let's go," I said. We bid goodbye to our boss, walked a few meters from our desk to the office door. We batched in our IDs and got to the elevator. "Why didn't you file for a leave? Aren't you going to your province?" I asked Kevin. "Christmas holidays are better. Besides, the workload isn't all that heavy during Holy Week. Plus, it's triple pay," Kevin replied. We went on with our night and drank 2 bottles while discussing our must-play games for the PlayStation. We wrapped up at around 11 p.m. and went on our way home. Kevin lives 30 minutes away from my apartment with his brother. Monday, Thursday. I got up at around 8 a.m. I cooked 2 eggs with rice and drank coffee. I took a bath and wore a black t-shirt with jeans and went on my way to work. It was exhilarating to be in the business district on a holiday because it's a totally different world. The usual thousands of cars you'll see on the road are all on their way to their vacation spots. The millions of people walking to their jobs are all on their merry way, stressing themselves out in traffic on the highways going out of the city. I was all jolly and a bit artsy, taking pictures of the empty streets for my Instagram account. After all, it's not every day you'll get to see a bustling metropolis this empty. It was around 9 a.m. when I got to the intersection across our building. I immediately noticed an ambulance and a few soldiers in front of the main entrance. The pedestrian crossing light still has a minute left before turning green. I decided to send a message to Kevin. "Hey bud, you in the office yet? I'm here at the pedestrian crossing. Did you see the ambulance? What's going on?" I texted. About 10 seconds later, my phone vibrated and I read his reply. "Yeah, I honestly don't know. But according to Ronald, it was a guy who fainted at the food hall 20 minutes ago. He was right behind the guy queuing for coffee when he fainted." I crossed the street as soon as the lights turned green. After a minute of walking, I got close enough to the ambulance to see 2 emergency personnel loading a stretcher with a man on a respirator. He looked to be in his late 30s. They were escorted by 2 soldiers equipped with rifles. 5 other soldiers were spread out the loading and unloading bay just outside the main entrance. I paid no mind to them and just headed inside. "Good morning, sir." Mr. Cruz, the guard, greeted me as I put my stuff on the scanner. "What happened to that guy?" I asked, hoping he would spill more info, since he was a jolly and chatty dude in his late 40s. "We think it's a heart attack. It happened upstairs on the food hall when he was trying to get coffee. According to the barista, after taking a sip, he coughed really hard and even spilled the cup on the floor. Then he fell. The ambulance got here 5 minutes after, followed by the soldiers. I'm wondering why the soldiers were here as well. That could happen to anyone. Anyway, I should go. Ronald is already waiting upstairs. Thanks for the chat, Mr. Cruz." "Welcome, sir, and take care. Have a nice day," said Mr. Cruz. I proceeded to the elevator lobby, got in an empty car, and pressed the 8 button. The doors closed, and I got to my floor after 10 seconds. When the doors opened, I saw Anna and Geoff standing on the 8th floor elevator lobby. "Good morning, guys. Where you off to?" I asked. "Hey, good morning. We're on our way to the food hall to grab a cup of coffee. Do you want anything?" asked Geoff. "Nah, I'm good, thanks," I replied and went to the security doors. I badged in my ID, opened the door, and headed to my desk. I saw Ronald sitting in front of his desk, sipping his cup of coffee. He saw me and waved hello. I responded back. I got in my cubicle and booted my laptop. Kevin was sitting beside me, showed me his screen. He was watching a video of a cat getting scared of cucumbers. We both laughed it off. We proceeded to work, opening our support tickets and making a few calls to clients to gather more info regarding their problems. It was around 1 p.m. when Kevin asked me, "Is it just me, or is our connection really slow? I've been trying to load this video for 3 minutes already. It usually just takes a few seconds for this to work." I checked my network connections, but to no avail. We just lost our company internet. We stood up and walked to Mark's desk. He is the network administrator, thus he is supposed to know the status of our network. Mark is in his late 30s, dark-skinned and a single dad. "Mark, what's wrong with the internet? We lost our connection a few minutes ago," I asked. "I'm checking it now as well, but to no avail. I'll call our provider. Give me a few minutes." He picked up his desk phone and dialed in a few numbers. His expression changed from annoyance to worried in a few seconds. "Our phones are down. Looks like this weekend's gonna be a hell of a week for me, damn it," said Mark. "My cell doesn't have any signal. Does yours have?" Kevin asked me. I quickly checked my phone and was surprised to see no reception as well. "Looks like we won't have anything to do till the network goes back online. Wanna grab lunch?" I asked Kevin. We left Mark working in his station, passed by Anna and Geoff's station, and saw them both heads down on their desks, fast asleep. Ronald wasn't in his cubicle. Maybe he went down to the food hall, I thought. Kevin made a quick trip to the bathroom, while I waited in the 8th floor lobby, fiddling with my phone. After a few minutes, he got back. Ronald is inside the bathroom, coughing heavily, saying he doesn't feel good, but he asked us to get him coffee. "Sure is a heavy drinker, huh?" said Kevin. The elevator doors opened, and we got in. We pressed the 2 button, and 10 seconds later, we were in the food hall. On a busy day, the hall will be packed with people, especially during lunchtime. All the concessionaires would have lines of at least 10 people at a time. Since it's a holiday, only the cafe was open. Only 2 baristas were present instead of the usual 4 people, and there was also no one dined in. I don't really like coffee from cafes, because I find them too pricey. Kevin doesn't drink coffee, and thus we ordered a turkey sub instead and Ronald's coffee. The barista wrote Ronald's name on the cup and told us, "A new shipment of coffee beans came in this morning. It was a good batch, supposed to be from..." I haven't tried it yet, but according to my co-barista, it tasted amazing. It's the perfect shot of coffee for a sluggish holiday. We went on our way back to the office, bringing our takeout with us. We got to the 8th floor and dropped off Ronald's cup on his desk. We passed by Anna and Geoff's desk, but they were not there. Maybe they went downstairs the same time we went up? I told Kevin. We paid it no mind and just went to our desks. We started eating our sandwiches, and halfway through, we heard screaming. It was Mark. "Help! What are you doing? Help!" This got us to our feet and ran to his station. We were shocked at the sight. It was Anna and Geoff ganging up on Mark. They were making horrific guttural sounds while beating Mark up violently. They looked like wild animals on a frenzy. We were horrified, but we ran to Mark's aid. I held Anna, and while Kevin held Geoff, we pulled him back. But they shoved us away. They both went straight for Mark and bit his legs. Mark let out a gut-wrenching scream. "What the fuck are you doing?" exclaimed Mark. There was blood everywhere. Then we saw their eyes. Anna took a glimpse at me with bloodshot red eyes and blood drooling from her mouth. I beckoned Kevin to run, as he was in shock as well. We were 2 meters away from the attack. Mark was already crying in pain as he tries to push the two away, but to no avail. Anne was a 5-foot woman, and Geoff was a homosexual man at 5'3", but both of them had unbelievable strength to be able to push me and Kevin. We ran back, looking for Ronald in the hope of assisting us. When we got to his desk, he was sitting there. "Ronald, we need your help. Anna and Geoff are attacking Mark. Help us. We can't pull him back. They're too strong." Ronald, head resting on his desk, suddenly jolted up. We were horrified to see him having the same bloodshot eyes. He let out a guttural scream and started for us. Kevin and I ran to the security doors quickly, badging my ID, and then opened the door. We got out, then closed it, just before Ronald got to it. Poor Mark. He was trapped inside with the 3 zombie-like beings who used to be Anna, Geoff, and Ronald. We made for the elevator quickly. It was the longest 5 seconds of our life. When the elevator doors opened, we got in and mashed the G button to get to the lobby. We didn't utter a word. Kevin was usually a joker, but he couldn't make a joke out of this one. When the doors opened, we ran for the main doors. But to our surprise, Mr. Cruz, the guard, was sprawled on the floor, bathed in his own blood, and his body bullet-ridden. Both the receptionists near the main door were dead. From what we make of it, they were both shot. We were both horrified at the sight, the smell of blood filling our nose. I was sick to my stomach.
"Please get back to your office and do not attempt to leave the building, or you will be shot."
The group of soldiers who accompanied the ambulance were still there, but this time, barricades were set up, and they tripled their number.
"Again, please get back to your office, or you will be shot. This is your last warning."
"We need help. Our colleague suddenly went berserk and attacked one of us. Please, we need your help," shouted Kevin. 3 bullets went through the thick lobby glass, warning shots aimed at our feet.
"On the count of 5, we will shoot you if you do not get back."
"Let's go. These guys aren't kidding. Let's just go." I pulled Kevin's arm, and we ran back to the elevator lobby. The emergency exit doors leading to the stairs were open. We went up to the 2nd floor through the stairs. Still no signal. I think they got this building jammed. I think the soldiers were up to this, Kevin said. We decided to run to the food hall to get help. We went inside the cafe to ask for help. The 2 baristas were gone. We cautiously went inside to check if there was a working phone with a signal we could use. "Help!" We heard a faint muffled sound from behind the counter. We slowly peeked over the counter to check, and we were filled with horror at the sight. The barista who entertained us earlier was being eaten by his partner. He was reaching his hand towards us to ask for help, but he was too weak to speak. The other barista was busy with what he was doing. We decided to run for our lives. "Let's go to the bathroom and lock ourselves in," I suggested. There was a bathroom within the vicinity of the food hall. We heard guttural screaming from far away. It was impossible to tell which direction it came from, but we assume it's from the 3rd floor, since there's an escalator directly going to the 3rd floor from the 2nd. We got to the bathroom, but the doors were locked. "Let's take a chance and head for the 3rd. It's the nearest one," said Kevin. "Okay, let's go." We ran to the escalator and hoped that the third floor was empty. From the third floor, we could go into a public meeting room and figure what the fuck was happening. The third floor was empty. All the rooms were surrounded by glass walls, so you could see from the outside. We picked the smallest one and the closest one to the escalator, just in case we need to bolt out of there. We got in and locked the door. We piled up everything inside the room to block the door. We were safe. Fuck, I can't believe this is happening. Straight out of World War Z or some shit, I said. I think the military is behind this. Why were the soldiers already outside? Who were they hailing in the ambulance earlier? Why did Anna, Geoff, and Ronald turn to freaks? And why didn't we? Why was the barista infected as well? Why did the soldiers shoot our guard and the receptionists? Why didn't they help us? Why jam our signals? And why wouldn't they let us leave? Kevin was rambling on with a lot of questions, which all made sense. I think it was the coffee. There was something in the coffee, I said. The coffee? Asked Kevin, surprised. Think about it. The patient from earlier drank coffee at the cafe, then passed out. When I got to the 8th floor earlier, Anna and Geoff was on their way to get coffee. Ronald was already sipping his cup when I went in. The barista told us that his colleague tested the newly arrived coffee. It's the coffee, I said. Kevin was silent. He took out his phone to check the signal, but to no avail. I was at a loss for words. We were in a horror movie, and we didn't know what to do. We were stuck. We were alone in a monolith with zombie-like beings, and the people who were supposed to protect us kept us from going out. We're as good as dead. Our army knows what the hell is going on. Why else would they be camped outside the building? I think they were in on this. They know what's going on. They definitely know. I was silent. I didn't know what to say. The gravity of the situation was dawning on me. I thought of my family. I thought of the regrets I have. I should have gone to Iceland to see the northern lights. I should have gone to Thailand to taste all the delicacies. There's lots of things I didn't do in this life. I lived like a robot. And now I'm gonna die like a lab rat. The hours passed in silence, both of us shocked at what's happening. My watch showed 6 p.m. Then, the fucking lights went off. Fuck. Now our whole world has gone dark, remarked Kevin. Our only lights were from outside the glass windows. It was 7 p.m. when we heard the familiar guttural screaming. We were alert. We peered through the glass wall while hiding behind the overturned table we used to block the door to check for movement outside. We couldn't see anything but darkness. The screams got closer, and so we ducked and hid and prayed that the creatures would pass us. We started hearing footsteps, slow footsteps, which means they were close. We couldn't tell how many, but I think there were a lot of them. We heard them knocking on the door and tapping the glass. My heart was racing, and I could tell Kevin's was too. Then we heard a loud crash on the right wall. It was behind Kevin. The faint light outside revealed 5 of the infected. They made it inside the meeting room adjacent to ours. They started banging on the glass wall protecting us from there. We needed to act quick. Then, we heard banging on the door. "There's another 3 of them on the door. We're locked in," shouted Kevin. I thought of what they do in the movies. I turned the table upright, then got on top, then felt for the ceiling vent. Luckily, there was one. "Help me with this one," I commanded him. He got up the table, and we managed to remove the vent. It was big enough for a person to fit in. I climbed in first after Kevin gave me a boost. I pulled him up just before the glass mirror broke and the infected got in. Just our luck. We crawled through the vent, not knowing where it'll lead us. It was already 10 p.m. when I checked the watch. We were both thirsty and hungry. Luckily, our phone still had some juice. They were used for flashlights. We heard the familiar guttural sounds below us. "I think they can track us," whispered Kevin. At this point, anything is possible. I did see Anna and Geoff with that group earlier. I told Kevin. "How did they get out?" he asked. "They probably broke through the security door. These people aren't human anymore," Remember how easily they threw us off when we were pulling them away from Mark? I said. Then, a sudden loud noise interrupted me from my train of thought. The sound came from behind me. "Jeffrey, help! The ceiling fell!" Kevin screamed. I looked behind and tried to reach for him with my foot. I couldn't turn around because of the limited space inside the vent. Then, I heard the horrified screams. "Jeffrey, hurry! They're coming!" Kevin was frantic. I rushed to get back and extend my foot so he'd have something to grab onto. But I was too late. Kevin was screaming in pain. Then he fell from the ceiling. That was the last I saw of him. I heard the guttural screams from below and the sounds of gore and pain. I crawled faster, leaving my phone somewhere in the vent. I kept crawling and crawling without thinking of where I'll go. I turned left, I turned right, went straight, made another right. I kept crawling and crawling till I fell on a slope. I slid for a good 8 seconds before I hit a dead end. I was in pain. The fall was too much for me. I couldn't see myself because of the complete darkness surrounding me. I stayed in that vent for what I think was an hour. I decided to feel my surroundings. In front of me was the slope from where I came sliding from. I turned around and found a grate. I pushed it hard till it opened. I fell outside from my last push straight into an open dumpster. The trash cushioned my fall. I was outside. I peeked out of the dumpster to check my surroundings. There were no soldiers. There was no one around. I quickly got out and ran like hell away from the building. I was able to get to the park where a mass was being held. I sat in one of the benches and tried to comprehend what happened. Then, I decided to go back home. I opened my laptop, then searched for anything related to the events that happened today. Nothing. There was nothing. Is this a media blackout? A secret military or government operation? This is too much, I thought to myself. It was around 12 p.m. when I decided to run for my life. If this was a military operation, I would be in danger from the military. I remembered my phone. If they find my phone, they'll be able to track me down. Good Friday. I got out of my apartment and rode a taxi to the bus terminal. It was already 12:30 a.m. I was going to buy a ticket to the farthest province possible. To get away. To hide. It was a covert military operation. I knew it. No one was supposed to survive. But I did. God help me.